Hi, it's Beth Morgan again. Thank you for coming back for video number 2. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how Google Forms might be very helpful in terms of reading student answers, and you're going to get to see that I really do have 4 recorders at my house. So we have this cheapo from the dollar store. We have this is one of my sons. This is the other, this is another one of my son's recorders, and this is a vintage recorder from the 80s from when I was in elementary school. So here's a little bit more about Google Forms. First off, if I was making a Google form, I probably wouldn't have this many different types of questions in the Google form. I might, but it seems a little like too much for what I would prefer. I was just playing around with this, as I have mentioned earlier. So in the sample form, I just wanted to point out that this type of question here, is a linear scale question. And I guess you can change the numbers, but I didn't. I just left it there. I didn't play around with that. This is linear square. Ugh, linear scale. Ooh. All right. This type of question is called multiple choice grid. And I'm pretty sure, based on my experience of answering this question 3 times for sample answers, is that you can only pick one answer per row. And then this question with the boxes, pick all that apply. I wrote that because for this one, it's called check box grid, and you can check more than one box for each person or each row, I should say. All right, so we have this. Now, let's say you've put out your Google form and to the students and you want to read their answers. This is why I really like using Google Forms for students to answer questions sometimes when it fits the task. If I click on responses, I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to click here on this icon, View Response in Sheets. So I'm going to click it. Now I've clicked that icon before, and so it's not asking me some of the questions that it did the first time I clicked that icon. But I think it asks, like, what you want the name of the spreadsheet to be or something like that. So I clicked on that icon and it's loading. Now the answers do not appear in this format the first time around. I'm going to go back to usually when you first click on and create a spreadsheet, it's going to look like this. I'm going to get the blue to go away. All right, this isn't that helpful because if I've asked for sentences, I can't read all the sentences at once. That's not what I want. All right, so instead, when I click the blue square, when I click this square up here, it should be highlighting it all. And then I'm going to go to Format, and I'm going to pick Text Wrapping, Wrap, WRAP, not to be confused with RAP, the music genre. All right, this is exactly how I like it. All right, so now we have the questions at the top. We have the answers, the 3 answers. Now, it was collecting, I think, email addresses, and mine doesn't appear because I created the form and then I answered the form 3 times. But anyway, so here, this is what I like, okay? Because it's all in an easy to read format. I can either read each question, one column, the whole question. I can read everyone's answers at once, or I can look at Beth Morgan. Oh, here's what she said. Here's what she said. Here's how she answered it. I can look by student or both. It just depends on what your purpose is. So on this, when I move the cursor over, even when it's one of those questions towards the end with the multiple choice grid or checkbox grid, Look, match the task to your opinion about it. Sleeping in tells me what the person said. This task, having to make every meal for my kids, tells me what the person said, and so forth. So then also, same with the attributes. For Beth, for the first person, Beth, female, live in Wilmington, column 5. Female, I guess she didn't live in Wilmington for a little bit, column 5. 5. And then whatever. Then Casey, it gives the attributes. Garrett, it gives the attributes. So I wasn't sure how those type of questions would appear in the spreadsheet, but they are, I think, in a fairly user-friendly format. So when I do a Google form, I often print out these pages because I just prefer to read it on paper, and then I mark them up and I write comments or something like that. So that's just me. That's what I prefer. You may not need to do that, but like the reason why I like Google Forms is because I can quickly go through a lot of answers as opposed to scrolling through a Google Doc and all that stuff. So maybe this gives you an idea on how to use a Google form in some way so that it's easy to read through student answers. I hope it wasn't a waste of your time. I hope you learned something new. I didn't explain how to print, but I would click the print icon. I would, decide. I would move my face around because I'm blocking some of the print menu. Um, I would. I usually do headers and footers. I usually do page numbers and workbook title because then it's going to give me the name of my Google form at the top. And I always like to do page numbers because it's just easier to staple the pages or to read through them. Anyway, I'm going to stop here. I'm probably over 5 minutes or getting very close. I hope you learned something, like I said. And I hope that if you have any questions, let me know. Email me. I'd be happy to try and help. All right. Bye.